What's up YouTube, it's your man Quantum here. We're back with another Iron Saga video today for you guys. Today we're going to be doing another mech review, and this time we're looking at Apocalypse Ironhead. I like this mech because it has a lot of tank potential. It's actually a pretty interesting mech because this mech can actually transform into another form while in battle. So we'll just go ahead and get right into it, and we'll look at this mech together. So I do just want to let you guys know that this mech does need duplicates. So there's still time, I believe, to get more copies of this mech. So definitely grind out for that, guys, because it does need duplicates to reach its full potential. We'll go ahead and get into the stats. The maximum HP that it can have is 6,440. That's actually not that bad. I like that. That's a pretty fair amount. And then weight is 89, so it's not the heaviest, which means that it probably will get knocked over a few times. So you could maybe use the pet that gives it knockover immunity. I can't remember what the name of the pet is. It's either GA29 or something, one of those. But anyways, the size is 5.9 by 7.3 actually, and then the velocity is 76. So 76 is kind of low, especially for like a smaller mech like this. It's kind of slow, honestly. So there's that as well. But anyways, we'll go ahead and get into the chassis feature. So the chassis feature is pretty cool. It has HP steel plus Apocalypse, so it absorbs 20% of normal and explosive damage to HP, and that can be stacked. And that's really good because pretty much all of its attacks that it can do, you're going to be getting 20% of that damage back as HP. So that's really good. That helps it be tanky a lot. So here's where it gets interesting. It has the Apocalypse feature. It says becomes to an Apocalypse. I don't know if that's a typo, but it basically transforms into its Apocalypse form for 30 seconds when HP is less than half. So once you hit about 50%, a little less than 50% HP, it is going to transform into its Apocalypse form. And that's actually pretty cool because in its Apocalypse form it has way more like attack frequency, does more damage and stuff like that, but it only lasts for about 30 seconds, so keep that in mind. Looking into the weaponry, as I said earlier, it has pretty much nothing but quality 5 attacks except for its bouncing shield, and most of its attacks are normal attacks except for its Vatican seal, which is a mega weapon. It has the sickle and anchor, which is a sword melee, or melee, I don't know why I said melee. Bouncing shield, which is a single shot melee. Sickle and anchor attack, which is a single shot melee. Sickle and anchor wave, which is single shot melee as well. Then the Vatican seal, which is a mega weapon. So that's pretty much it for the weaponry. The Vatican seal is an explosive quality 5 attack. Now going into the unique ability, it has sickle and anchor strikes, shield tackle, shield block L1, side evasion L1, dash, sickle and anchor dance, and then the Apocalypse strike. So I like the little sickle and anchor dance. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if that's when it like throws the sickle and anchors like around erratically, but it's pretty cool. I can't remember which one of them it is, but it does have that attack where it kind of acts as like almost like a burst of power that emits from it like at once, and then it kind of like knocks back enemies, so that's pretty good as well. I just don't remember which one it is, but yeah, so that's it for the stats. We'll go ahead and get into the 30-second DPS test that I like to do right quick, and this is just to see how much raw damage it can do without like any parts or anything. So we'll just kind of let it attack for 30 seconds, see how much damage it can possibly do. Right now it is at, looks like it's at around 800 to 900, around like 850. It's kind of going down to like 700 now. It's around like roughly around 750, around there. Okay, so it's about 750. That's about the end. That's the end damage that we're doing right there, end DPS. Not horrible, but for a triple S rank it could definitely be more. You know, my rule is a good solid damage dealing mech is always going to deal more than 1,000 DPS. So yeah, we'll keep that in mind. But now we'll go ahead and do the survivability test, and this is basically just going to see how long it can survive, basically how long it can actually survive before dying. So right now we are at about 15 seconds. He still has a pretty good amount of health currently, so it's doing pretty good actually. I feel like most like S-Class ranks, triple S-Class ranks, it's usually gonna last for around 30 something seconds. So if it can last more than that, that's pretty good. Right now it is in its apocalypse form, and you can see that chassis feature coming in handy because it's basically getting its HP back. We're at 45 seconds. It's actually not doing too bad. It just kind of shows how tanky this mech can potentially be. This mech has a lot of tank potential. We're approaching 1 minute, and you can see it just went out of its apocalypse form. So that's the only thing right there. The apocalypse form only lasts for 30 seconds. So keep that in mind, but it is pretty cool. You know, it's a cool little mechanic. And it's about to be pretty much done here. So it lasted for about 1 minute 14 seconds. In my opinion, that's not bad at all. That's actually pretty good as far as survivability goes for, you know, a mech without any parts on it or anything, just raw survivability. That's pretty damn good. So this thing does have a lot of tank potential. So now guys, we'll just kind of get into like recommended pilots, parts, and you know how I recommend to build this mech. So first off, let's go ahead and just go into the parts that I would recommend. So there's honestly not really any specific parts that I would recommend except for the high energy absorption shell. That's something that I would recommend, but as far as pretty much the rest of the parts, I would just recommend building it for tankiness / absorption. So as much HP as you can possibly build for it is what I would recommend. I mean, for a core, you can go for like a large defense core, that would work. Of course, the large attack core, you can build it for attack, but in my opinion, I feel like where it shines is mostly going to be defense. So I would recommend like a large defense core, maintenance core, you know, something that's going to increase HP or reduce damage received. But the main part that I would recommend here is a high energy absorption shell. This is going to stack with the HP steel, I believe is what it's called, and that's going to give you, instead of 20%, it's going to restore and absorb 40 total percent. So that's actually going to be pretty good, and then on top of that, it's going to increase the attack of its weapons as well by 30%. So if nothing else, definitely recommend this high energy absorption shell. And that's pretty much it for like that's pretty much it for the S-Class parts. Sorry, that came out weird, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the S-Class parts. There's really no specific A-Class part that I would recommend. Once again, just go for HP, you know, stuff like that. For the B-Class, once again, recommend HP, but there is the, where is it at? There is the regular energy absorption shell. So if you have this, I would definitely recommend using that as well, because you won't get to 40, but you will get that 30, and it will increase normal attack as well. So that's pretty much it for the parts, guys. That's pretty much it for that. Now, as far as like actual pilots, the two pilots that I would actually recommend, I don't have, but I would recommend either Sss-Class here or Elena. I guess you could use like any defensive or melee, I guess, pilot or whatever, but I would recommend Sss-Class and Elena because they both actually have damage absorption, which is going to increase that tankiness, increase that damage absorption the mech would get to make it even more tankier. So that's going to be really good. And then they also both have final damage increase skills. After like the HP of the mech hits about half, they're going to get that final damage increase, which is going to be good because while it's in its transformed state, it'll do more damage as well. So yeah, I would recommend either Sss-Class or Elena, which Elena is its original pilot anyway, so that kind of goes without saying right there. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much going to be it for Apocalypse Ironhead. It's a pretty good mech. It definitely has potential for sure. You just got to build it right. Once again, I would recommend building it for tankiness. One last thing I did want to mention is that you cannot actually use unyielding while it's in its transform state. So unyielding, basically, if you don't know, it keeps it alive for about 5 seconds or so after it's originally going to receive that fatal damage, but for whatever reason it doesn't work in its transform state. It does still work in its regular state though, so if you goes into the transform state and then stays alive long enough to transform back, it should still work after that. But if it dies in its transform state, it's not gonna trigger unyielding if it receives that fatal damage. So definitely keep that in mind as well, guys. But that's pretty much it for this mech. You guys let me know if you enjoyed this video in the comments. If there's any other information you guys have about this mech or any other recommendations, definitely feel free to leave them in below. That pretty much be about it, guys, for this one. I'll definitely see you guys in the next one. Appreciate all the love and support. You guys take it easy, and peace out.